I know how annoying it can be when you hop on endless sales calls and you're tired of people saying, let me think about it. And you're constantly explaining your value, but they just never understand. Because this one-page document will eliminate 90% of your objections and turn DM conversations into $200 per week reoccurring clients who we upsell into a multiple four-figure paid in full. And I personally use this exact same document to help clients go from 2K followers to 70K monthly recurring revenue, and another from 600 followers to 6K cash collected in his first ever month, all without ads, without objection filled annoying sales calls or begging for attention. And this isn't just another sales template or a script, because this is the exact positioning document that took my clients from chasing prospects to having them ask, how do I get started? A massive game changer. And it works whether you have 600 followers or 60,000, because this one-page doc is a positioning and packaging system that pre-sells your skills and your expertise before you even speak. And it turns cold DMs into warm handshakes without a single sales calls. Because if you're a coach, you're a consultant, or you're an agency owner, and you struggle with prospects who ghost you after you send proposals, you have hour-long sales calls and just trying to explain your value to them, but they don't understand. And they always say, I need to discuss with my partner. Or you have revenue that depends on your personal sales performance, then by the end of this breakdown, you'll walk away with the blueprint to close $200 per week clients without sales calls or proposals, and upsell them into multiple four-figure paid in fulls, and position your offer so price objections disappear, and build predictable 10 to 30K plus in monthly recurring revenue. Just watch to the end and I'll show you exactly how we actually built this doc, and why once you see prospects responding with, when can we get started, instead of let me think about it, you'll never go back to traditional sales again. So this is literally the doc that I have here in front of you, and it's called the conversion call. And I'll actually show you everything that we put in this document towards the end of this video, or actually quite soon. So currently right now, you probably spend 3 to 4 hours doing custom proposals, either explaining it on sales calls or in looms that you send over or in emails that you extensively write. But people ghost you, or they say they're not interested. They say they have to talk to their wife, they have to talk to their dog to figure out whether or not they actually want to fully invest into your multiple four-figure 1K, 2K, up to 10K offer, right? And so this is the solution to that problem that you're having, which is not getting consistent lead flow and clients who actually want to pay you. So the problem with that is that people don't understand the value that you're providing. They have to consume hours of your content, whether it be on Instagram, on YouTube. They have to consume so much of your content before they decide they want to spend, let alone $10, $100, or even $500, and up to what your actual offer price is, which is $2,000 plus. They don't even want to pay you because they've never seen or have enough trust in you to be the solution for their problem. And so we solve this by getting weekly recurring revenue for the same offer by selling my mechanism, which is the conversion call, which is selling different levels of access to you. The reason why I position it this way is because it doesn't matter whether you have 600 followers or 60,000 followers or 600,000 followers, is because people need to trust you in any market, especially a very sophisticated market where trust is incredibly low and people don't see the value in you. And especially when you have so many more people creating content nowadays, they have a camera now, they have systems, there's so many mentors and gurus in this space now who are trying to teach you and take your money. We have to subvert every single person that is doing the exact same thing, which is selling a high ticket offer or an incredibly low ticket offer, and stay there. We must merge them both and create a hybrid packaging system where we can price our offer so that it immediately attracts the right client, and we are able to prescribe the exact solution that they need for their problems, instead of having one generalized solution which we hope will attract the right person. Because once you waste time on sales calls, once you hop on the call and you don't know what exactly they're struggling with, you may have qualified them with Calendly, with the questions on your Calendly page and potentially in the DMs. You don't really truly know what their problem is until you identify and you track down the exact bottlenecks in their business by looking at their KPIs, right? Looking at their data and actually being on that sales call. But essentially on those sales calls, you're giving away a consultation, a free consultation, where you're actually helping them identify a bottleneck, and then the sales call is free. They actually never buy from you. And I don't see the point in wasting time and doing that, because potentially they might buy back from you in the future, but you want cash now. Yes, you can get them back within a 2 to 3 month sales cycle after that first call, but why waste that initial time doing a 2-call close where that second call is going to be months ahead of time? Why not make it a more efficient system where you're actually getting paid for your time and then also for the outcome that you'll be delivering? So how we do that is the conversion call, right? If you don't know what this is my unique mechanism. And what we do is we sell somebody a one-time offer. Then we upsell them into different levels of access, where each level, as it increases the amount of access that they have to you. So for example, you sell a one-time workshop, a mini course, or an asset, a lead magnet that you actually get someone to pay you. We don't want to attract freebies and people who always are sucking the soul out of your effort, which is horrible. And so what we do is we get customers, one-time customers, who pay a one-time fee for something small. It could be a school community where you're showing one specific skill, or you give them access to one module within the school. Then we upsell them to a low-ticket community with a very low level of support. Then we upsell them to direct DM support to yourself. Then we upsell them to having bi-weekly calls with you. And then finally, the last layer is doing done-for-you services for them, almost like an agency. And this model works primarily for coaches and consultants. And if you're an agency owner, you can still apply the system. However, you want to weave in aspects of consultancy, which I can explain in another video, or just go through my other videos, which will explain that as well. Now, what you're probably wondering is, what is actually inside this doc? What goes inside of this document? How do we position ourselves and sell in the DMs? And all we have to do is just send over the document and people actually buy from it. How do we do this? Well, the document that I want to show you is surprisingly called the conversion call, right? It's my unique mechanism. So this is the exact document that I use and I send to prospects, or my seller does. He sends this DM into the DMs of prospects. So we begin by having the title, your unique mechanism, and up here is essentially saying, message I'm down, if they're down to actually want to do this. And it's a bit of Gen Z slang, but you can write whatever you think is the most sensible for you. Now, the next part after the title is ensuring that you have undeniable social proof. Okay, and if you look here, I have linked my second page with which is Converter Studios. And in Converter Studios, I have labeled every single dollar that my clients have made. As you can see, 4-figure payments are riddled all across this page. And you can see the amount of revenue that all of my clients have made, which is undeniable truth that this system works, that cash is collected. As you can see, low ticket cash collected turns into high ticket, multiple 4-figure paid in fulls. And so going back to this document, once you unveil the social proof and people see that you have undeniable proof on what you do actually works, and obviously if you don't have it, you want client testimonials. The backbone of everything that you ever do will be on client testimonials, unless you have an incredible offer with an insane guarantee where if somebody doesn't get the result, they can essentially get a refund plus free work, or they can also get paid by you. Like, you actually pay them if you fail. And so it's more of an incentive for you to actually try your hardest to get them the result, but also it makes your offer undeniably irresistible, which is such a saturated term to describe offers, which I apologize for, but it was just appropriate in the moment. But anyway, the next part is the actual offer to add 10K a month with 90% margins, working under 5 hours a day. And you can change obviously this offer and the structure of this document to fit your niche, your clients, and obviously your ICP. But the next part is what you actually get, the deliverables. So the offer system that sells before you speak. It's a bit of an inception because I'm showing you the document and what we actually do. But in this document, it's actually showing you what it is. So the Netflix of offers, your one-page offer doc, which is this entire doc, that lets prospects binge, believe, and buy before booking a call. The next part is reverse risk positioning baked in with your offer map, so that we can determine the exact price, the guarantee, the niche, and the offer stack that you need to position yourself as the market leader. The next part is the inbox momentum on autopilot using AI, which is just incredibly important to save you time, especially when you're creating content. You want to maximize the amount of time that every hour you spend on content is, because content is a high leverage activity. And if we can even make it even more high leverage by reducing the amount of time that we spend on it, then it's just incredible flywheel that you can make. So the AI helps us craft DMs and looms as well in your voice, and it's all delivered with a swipe file. It comes with the objection vault, guarantee matrix, and the value ladder stack. And then we create systems that run while you speak, which are all tracked. Tracking is so incredibly important, and it is the only thing that you need to do to determine where your bottlenecks are in your business and what you have to do so that you know exactly what your next move is. Because I actually had a recent client of mine who complained and said to me that, Matt, I'm not happy with the results that we got in after this 1 month of working. Why couldn't I scale my offer to 20K a month? And in the previous month, 2 months ago, he got 7K maximum in profit before he worked with me. And in the next month, we were trying to build the fulfillment and the back end so that he could actually convert these people. And in that same month, his revenue dipped, and he questioned me, Matt, I worked with you and I'm not happy with the results. But the reality is that if you don't track, because he wasn't tracking, right? He wasn't tracking the metrics, but it didn't matter anyway. So the main point was he was not looking at the broader picture. The broader picture was that we had to build the middle funnel and the bottom of funnel so that we could actually optimize the top of funnel later, which would be in terms of profile visit ads. And we wouldn't have known that if we didn't track. And he refused to track, which was at the time a mistake on his end, but now he's tracking and we're going to absolutely scale his offer insanely well. But tracking is just so most important when it comes to determining what you have to do and never having confusion on what your next steps will be. Now, the next part is the lead engineer who prints daily demand. So this is the client acquisition system. We use cold DMs and a Loom engine to close 7K a month with less than 2K followers. You don't have to have an insane following. Obviously, it will help you. It'll be better. I've had clients who've had millions and millions of views when it comes to videos, and it was because they got hated on in the video, or it's some type of meme video, and they didn't get a single client from that. If anything, it actually ruined their brand. And this was obviously before they even worked with me. So it's important to understand that it's not always about followers and likes and comments, which are vanity metrics. The next thing is breathing life into dead leads with the resurrection framework, which is the follow-up sequence that we talk about, and I can show you in another video. And the next part is multiplying your content into different multiple platforms, and then obviously having the right templates and infrastructure to actually support these things, to track, and obviously to put these into action. And we next scale with different closers, setters, VAs, client success managers, and obviously a strong but a lean team to actually retain profit and having a good margin. And then obviously the level of support that they get is there. Now, the next part are the 3 phases within the conversion core: clarity and core, cash flow and content, upscale or unplug. Having a image here really does help visualize my mechanism and exactly what it is that they can expect their progression would be like. So client expectations are incredibly important. Now, the second, or actually third last part is the actual investment, right? How do we get people to actually pay us what we are deservingly owed without having them stress and worry that they'll get scammed, that it won't work, and essentially having every excuse and every possible reason to reject our price? Because the only reason why you have an objection is because people don't see enough value in what you have to offer to justify the price. That's just the reality. And so we can break that by breaking down the investment so that it is palatable, so they can see the upfront value, which is a similar instance to when people have a free trial for a software. Obviously, in this case, we're going to get paid for our time. And so let's talk about the actual pricing. So we show people what the previous pricing was, so 6K for 6 months. Now it is $200 a week. They can cancel anytime. There's no risk to them at all. The reason why we do this is because once they pay $200 a week, they will see amount of value that your offer has to value. And then once they see enough value, we get them to pay in full once they take a win or a milestone happens where they see enough value that we can actually get them to fully commit to our offer. And this is where we get an insane amount of cash flow, right? The next thing is creating scarcity. Spots remaining, 4 out of 10 as of the 1st of August, 2025. And then in brackets, what's happening on the back end, the last individual who took this offer, and this was completely true, was a $25 million agency owner. And this is, like I said, this is the document that we sent out to different agencies, different coaches and consultants. And the last person that actually took my offer was a $25 million business owner. Now, the next price is obviously going to create, again, that feeling of scarcity where the price will increase if they don't join now. And one client for you covers everything. That's sort of, again, to objection handle. Will I make an ROI on my investment? They can cancel anytime. There's really no risk. If you're scared of losing $200, then you should not be working with that client at all. Okay. And if anyone has any questions, they can just go back on Instagram and message me your concerns. And if only I determine that a prospect is highly qualified, would I ever decide to hop on a call with them? And it's not going to be a sales call. It's going to be an onboarding call. That's how I like to frame it. If they are highly qualified of a prospect, you can hop on that call and close them on that call. If they genuinely have a question that can be resolved quickly on a call that will take less than 10, 20 minutes, then you can do that. Okay, again, reaffirming the scarcity, and obviously the current clients maintain the initial price as a benefit for them. And then the final thing is I reward action takers, because this is just absolutely incredible of an incentive to make people want to buy your offer immediately. And all they have to say is DM me. I'm in, actually change this, as you can see from the top, to I'm down, because I'm in sounds a bit sus. Now, anyway, so the very final part is simply saying, let me know if you're down. Just say I'm down in the Instagram DMs, and people say that. And again, reaffirm the offer, and we tell them how many spots are left. Obviously, times change. So that is the month for this month. And that is the exact document that I send to people so that they close for $150, $200, eventually $250 a week, and create scarcity so that people are afraid of not taking action and only attracting the right qualified buyer who are action takers, which we will then be able to rightfully ascend them to make them pay in full because they see so much value in your offer. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Ciao, ciao.